We gonna make it. Boxing King Media powered by BYD. We're in Liverpool at the Box Park. I didn't know Liverpool had a Box Park as well. Tasha Jonas, Lauren Price, two of your ladies fighting in world title fights, which I'm guessing you want to get them to fight each other at some point. But big event for you this Saturday, because it kind of how shall I put it? Kind of sets up the future.
Yeah, no. To be honest, that press conference got me going. I think Ivana Habazan stuck it on me, and rightfully so. You know, there's been a lot of talk about Lauren and Natasha and what a massive fight that is for British boxing, but you know, it's collision course for a reason. Ivana Habazan's in the form of her life. She's earned a world title. She's a genuine world champion in herself. She's been training over here for 4 weeks in Amir Khan's gym in Bolton. She's put in the graft, and I got a funny feeling that she's ready to cause an upset on Saturday. You know, I think that's where that aggression, that's where that upset came from. Is like, hang on, this is a unified world title. Why the fuck are we talking about Lauren Price? And that's given her extra motivation if she needed any. Natasha Jonas is going to have to be at her very best. I truly believe that. This was a fight that Ivana demanded. I think when you have three world champions, it's quite hard because they all are world champions. They've all earned that. They all believe they should be prioritized. You know, Natasha Jonas is the queen. This is a 6th world title fight. You know, homecoming. She sells a huge amount of tickets, and she's always done unbelievably for us. Lauren Price is the gold medalist, the NBA, that never lost a round, become a world title. Ivana Habazan is the established world champion, and sometimes they all clearly, and this is careers for themselves, want to be prioritized. And so the best way to do it was to stick everyone in. If you win, you stay on. The road to undisputed starts on Saturday night, and they've all got that opportunity, and the best woman will end up victorious, whether that's Habazan, whether that's Bexy Mateus, whether that's Lauren Price, whether that's Natasha Jonas, and we've committed to all 4 of them that the winner will fight the winner of the other fight.
I'm guessing you want the 2 British ladies to come through, but is there any risk of Tasha walking away from the sport if she wins?
Look, I think with Natasha Jonas, I've always thought, is she going to show signs of slowing down? And every time she doesn't, and she almost gets better. And that fight against Michaela Mayer was incredible for someone towards the end of her career, but she's still performing at the very highest level, and she dedicates absolutely everything to her craft, and she wants to become undisputed in the welterweight division. But she's going to have to win on Saturday night, and people forget that. I really believe Habazan is coming to cause an upset. I think we're going to have to see a career best performance from Natasha Jonas. But yeah, winner stays on. Anything can happen in boxing. Of course, I can't predict the future. I don't want to look too far ahead. I've done that before. Let's see what happens on Saturday night.
Mark Jeffers, great fighter. And I was saying to him earlier, it feels like he's had a stop-start career. You know, he caused some upsets. He's been in the game like 8-9 years. I think he feels quite upset about the opportunities he's had. So can you kind of, are you the man backing him, or, you know, what's the situation with Mark?
Look, I remember meeting Mark before when I was doing the Oldman Boxer shows. He's from Manchester. I know his dad from Northern Ireland. My mum's from Northern Ireland, and I always thought this kid is special, and he sells tickets. And he's got everything. He's struggled for whatever reason to have a promoter behind him. We're behind him. I think he sees the Callum Simpson hype, and it's genuine hype, and look at the tickets he sells, and look at what he's doing, and look at his headlining now. Thinks, hang on, I'm the best super middleweight in this country. I'm the one that's world level, and he's 18 fights in so far. He's performing extremely well, and we're behind him now, and I think he's the dark horse of the division, and he rightfully so, he has that frustration, but he's still 26 years old. He's still a young super middleweight. He's 18 fights in. He's a phenomenal fighter. Beat Chelly on 2 weeks' notice, and Chelly's made people look stupid. So, yeah, a bright future. I'm glad he's frustrated, and of course it's going to piss you off. If you believe you're the best and you're seeing Callum Simpson selling out stadiums, headlines again against Steve Woodall, you want those big moments yourself, but believe me, he's going to get them. And I'm looking forward to it, because Manchester hasn't had those big names for a while, since probably Crawler. he's got to be the next one. And as he said, he just needs that consistency in the big fights now. He's actually got a better than expected fight on Saturday night. Guys coming in with 9 knockouts out of 10 fights, and as a replacement that's been ready and training over here in the UK. So another big performance, but yeah, definitely the sleeping giant of that division, and a great guy as well.
I think the fight of the night, which potentially could be McKenna Lee Cutler, who are you favouring in that, and what's the plans for the winner?
I think Stevie's definitely probably the slight favourite with the bookies, but only slight. Lee Cutler is coming off 2 big wins, and him in the McGuigan's gym have spotted vulnerabilities. There's not Stevie McKenna, I promise you, is so hard to match. He's just such a mouthful. He's such a handful and a mouthful, and he's ready for a fucking war every time, and I love it. And he just wants to get stuck in. But Lee Cutler is someone that you don't prod without getting a reaction, and that's what sparked this build-up. There's so much on the line for both of them. Like, this is pressure at this level. Like, people don't realise world titles, yeah, they have pressure, but not when you're fighting for your career. That's what British boxing is about. That's real pressure. It's different level of pressure when you're fighting for millions, when you've already secured your future. These guys are fighting for their future, and that's when it boils over, and it's a special fight, and 2 guys that cannot afford to lose. And of course the winner will be out very soon, and has big opportunities, and yeah, credit to both guys, and as you said, could steal the show, that one.
Yep, let's see what happens. It's a good card either way, so some great fights, and like you said, a lot of it just sets up what's happening with you next year. And talking of next year, just a couple of other topics I want to discuss with you. We've seen in the last 48 hours Tunde and Pat Barrett had a go at each other in IFL yesterday.
Shalom.
Ben, yeah, apparently you're not picking the phone up, Ben, so what's going on?
I can't pick up the phone to him.
To who?
I can't pick up the phone to Pat. I'm at Wasserman's promoter, pretending not to pronounce my name. He knows exactly who I am. I love Pat. He's an old school G, but so is Tunde. I love them together. I think they're brilliant. But we were supposed... Lyndon Arthur was going to fight Dan Aziz on October the 19th. I think people know that. Lyndon wasn't ready. We agreed that we get Lyndon out as soon as he was ready with Wasserman. They suggested the Yarde fight. We said, okay. We've made the offer. We're easy. If they accept it, you've got a huge fight. If not, I'm sure Anthony Yarde will not wait around and go and do something else. It all came from, as I say, Lyndon Arthur was meant to fight on October 19th. Hasn't. Dan Aziz unfortunately lost, and then that was a fight. But they've got history. It's a mouth-watering fight because of the history there, because of the people involved, because of this. But ultimately, it's in Wasserman's hands, and I think Anthony will move on unless we can provide him with that.
Is that fight due to be on Sky or Channel 5?
I think. Look, I think Anthony would be open for anything, but we're the ones that have made the offer to Lyndon, and it'll be up to him. But as I say, Anthony's got options throughout, and I don't think he'll wait around unless we can provide him that fight. But it was good to see them going back and forth, and yeah, it was funny. Ben Shalom was a funny. If you haven't seen that interview, it's funny. Like, Pat Barrett is hilarious, and I think they bet 50 grand or 100 grand. So yeah, let's see what happens.
And then the other big talking point is this whole percentage argument with Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr. So as of now at 4 p.m. on Thursday, what's the latest?
I have done, not even me. If this was the other way around, they'd be asking for 70-30. I think everyone can see who the A side is, but I don't think fans are bothered. I'm actually don't like talking about it, because why does a fan care? But I think anyone with a business brain knows where that's at. I think we've done a remarkable job to get Chris to be so generous to even come that close, because it's not that close. And now Eddie's got to do his job, and I think he will. And I think Eddie knows deep down that he probably thinks, bloody hell, Shalom, you've done well to get him to 55%. I never thought you'd get him there. Like, I genuinely believe he thinks that and knows that deep down. And so all the bluffing and all of this, they just got to go and get their side sorted, and then we have a massive fight. Eubank has done all he can, but at this stage, he's earned his millions, he's earned his fights, he's done the pay-per-views, he's ready to go, and he's saying to me, make the Lara fight. And as promoters, I think it's more the promoters that want to get the fight done because of the size of it, but the reality is I've done my side, I've got them everything ready, I can't do anything more. And otherwise, Chris has the mouth-watering opportunity to fight for a world title.
Well, Eddie's argument was that because I think him and Napa were talking yesterday, and they were talking about percentages, and I think Eddie made the point that Connor's had 7-figure paydays as well. So do you think that's true?
That, no.
Why don't you believe that?
Who did he get a 7-figure payday against?
I don't think he said.
Me and Eddie get on now, so I don't want to poke the beast. I want the fight to happen. I want the fight to happen. So I'm not going to say anything more that's just going to make it harder to make.
Where would that fight take place? Because that's the other thing. Would it be on the Zone? Would it be in the UK? What's the logistics behind that?
Okay, it'll be in the UK. It'll be on Sky. It'll be, I'm sure, with the Zone as well. But look, the fight has to get made soon. So first, and I think if it's not made by Christmas, then you can forget it.
So the fact that you and Eddie, he said you're getting on, so can you delve into that a little bit? Are you getting on?
No, just the fact that that we're talking and there's fights to be made, and I think we didn't have a relationship, so it's hard to say we had a bad relationship. First time I spoke to him, I think was on that was it the Riyadh season fight week, yeah. So I actually don't care as long as we can make the fights. That's the no one gives a shit whether we're best friends or not. Why would any fan give a shit? I actually think it's probably boring if everyone's holding hands and singing Kumbaya and fucking, that is boring. And I'm not saying I want animosity, but you know, we came in and we're still the challenger, and I've got to this stage where we can't be ignored, and that comes with the territory. I think fans have quite enjoyed seeing me seeing the back and forth. I think they've enjoyed it. I'm not interested in it. I don't start it, but I think the positive is that fights are being made, can be made now, and that's all that anyone wants. And people all I want is, yes, compete, but why are we trying to trip each other up the whole time? Don't try and that's where I think it, because that just harms the sport and it's unnecessary and it's underhand. I think we're beyond that now. I hope we're beyond that now. I might be naive. Let's see what happens. But for me, if fights can be made, communication's open, we're not trying to constantly get one over on each other, then hopefully this is the start of more fights being made. There's other fights being discussed as well, not just Eubank Benn.
So when you get along, do you speak to Eddie direct, or do you still deal with Frank Smith?
I speak to Eddie, I think, but again, I've got nothing against Frank Smith. Frank Smith's the one that I think has had a big problem, and since we started. But again, I don't care. I don't hold it against him. I just want to get on with my job. I want to be able to make fights. If we can make fights, then great. And if we can get on, better. But I don't think anyone really cares.
What's the deadline for the Eubank Benn negotiations before you go a different route?
Christmas. We got a date set for the Lara fight, and then you start to put their own careers at risk. And I think, as I say, I think we've done really well to actually get it to this point. If it was the other way around, they'd be saying it's 70-30. I have no doubt about that.
Azim Lipinets undercard, any potential fights you can name on that?
Yeah, Vidal will fight against Isaac Chamberlain if we've got to know, but also he's 6 weeks away. This is part of his camp. If there's any sort of injury or anything, then, or not even injury, if he needs a full camp, it won't. But we want to do it on that February 1st card. For me, it could headline any show. It's such a big fight. Isaac's such a character, Vidal's such a character, and Vidal's obviously the one coming up. So huge fight. Jamie TKB will return on that card. I think the winner of Stevie McKenna and Cutler, if it's Stevie, might go on that card. There's a couple of other big ones as well. It's going to be a great night. That one on February the 1st, I think tickets to go on sale this week. It's a huge night. Azim against Lipinets. is monstrous. I think that's where you see boy to man, where you see a guy that we've talked about for a long time go and prove himself on the world stage. Then you've got Vidal against Isaac Chamberlain, huge fight. Jamie TKB heavyweight, and then 2 big names coming on the card as well. So big night. Got a show to announce hopefully on Saturday night for March. That we'll announce in Liverpool on Saturday. And then, yeah, obviously we've got Whitaker coming back, Fraser Clark coming back. We've got Joshua Buatsi in his big fight February 22nd. We'll announce what happens next with Eubank and Bacoli in the next week or two. So it's looking good.
Last question, you mentioned more dates there because I don't think there's anything officially out there. What's the status of future shows in Sky?
Jan 11th, Feb 1st, first week of March, second week of April, May. Everything, it's good. And it's nice to get ahead of it because sometimes with Riyadh season, it's been like chasing your tail. I thought, at one point Eubank was going to headline, Whitaker was going to headline Clark. And we had to sort of quickly find shows and change the whole schedule. Now we sort of adjusted to Riyadh season. We know what fighters are looking out there. We know what fighters are bringing through here. Can start to get a more of a consistent schedule ahead of time. And even from January to December now, it's pretty much all laid out.
Last question, quick answer on this. Benn Whitaker, is he going to go straight into a rematch with Liam Cameron? If not, when's he out next?
If they're sensible, yes. He will be out March or April. Yeah, he's in a good place and I'm excited.
Against Liam Cameron or?
If they're sensible, then we'll do it. Yeah.
Does that mean there's negotiations ongoing?
Well, it just means that we're not going to be held to ransom. They want the fight, we want the fight, but Benn Whitaker's the star and he'll fight regardless in March or April.
Ben, Shalom, thank you for your time. All the best Saturday night, and we'll see you in Riyadh in a week's time.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
We gonna make it.
One, two, let's go. Hey, 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 hey.